life, I was told to do right. Stick her by my side if they wanna test my life. Yeah, street kid, I was trapping long nights on the weekend. Shorty on me all night.
Hey, yo, what do you say? What do you know? It's your boy Blue Eyes. Ready, set, let's go.
I'm your boy B. Luke.
CMB Luke. And today we're gonna be chopping it up.
All right, bro. Big things, for sure. So, man, today I want to talk about alcohol versus weed, right? Because I got a long history with both, my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So alcohol, right? Back in the 1920s was abolished, right? Abolished, right? Is that no? I'm thinking of something.
Well, they had
it was outlawed, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something
Prohibition.
else. Prohibition. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, yeah, back in the 1920s, yeah, prohibition was abolished in the 30s. Right. I don't know what.
Which they
to use big words and I slow myself
which
up.
they just made smuggling, and they made speakeasies, low key bars, people running the alcohol. That's
well,
how
I mean
how NASCAR was invented.
Well, I mean,
people smuggling the illegal alcohol. Imagine
I mean,
that.
in the 1920s, whatever it was, year 1920, when they had prohibition and outlawed alcohol. I mean, you had people like Al Capone that's when a lot of these people made their fortune. Yeah, they built their empires.
The outlaws started to capitalize, the mobsters, the gangsters, they capitalized on something that wasn't really considered evil and everyday people wanted access to. So you had your speakeasies, your little bars, your low-key bars, then your transportation. Them chases turned into NASCAR. What we know today as NASCAR, originally that was bootleg rum runners.
Really?
Yeah, that's where NASCAR comes from. They used to just be outlaw moonshine runners.
What?
Yes.
I never knew that. So
yes.
All right. So what happened? What do you mean? So the first people that started racing in NASCAR were former getaway drivers.
They had to have faster cars than the police officers.
Right.
So eventually, when alcohol came legal, they still wanted the thrill of the drive, and it eventually spilled into that NASCAR scene to get a whole history. But weed versus alcohol is touchy because, like, I'm the type of person I feel like if I'm drinking, I'm probably running the stop sign. But if I'm smoking weed, I'm probably gonna stop at that stop sign like it's a red light.
Bro, I like that you said that because I'm not even like literally, but like using that as a metaphor, right? You running that stop sign where it's like, I'm talking about in the brain where you might have a stop sign that tells you, let's not rob innocent people, right? Let's not beat that person up for looking at me.
Makes you
right?
chill,
you run that stop sign. That's funny that you say it like that.
If weed makes you chill and paranoid, you're most likely to think about your actions. Things are not that serious, but versus alcohol, when you're angry and you're just kind of snapping off of it, you kind of just go off a primal instinct, and that's a bad thing when we can't just calculate our thoughts, be cool, calm, and collective, and consider,
Well, I feel like alcohol's big with you lose that filter you may have.
Exactly.
You lose that chill button.
Yeah, you get there's no pause. You get right to, my brother calls it bud balls, but you just speak your truth. You're just like raw.
You don't care about feelings.
Yeah, no.
You don't care about
maybe
consequences.
Later.
Right?
Not at all. Not at the time. But maybe later.
Big time. It's almost like that, you see in the cartoon, the angel and the devil, man. I feel like when you on alcohol, man, that devil's a little bit closer to your ear than that angel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when you on alcohol, the demon won. The angel's hog tied behind the couch right now, and it is the devil, negativity,
right?
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying the devil.
Bad, yin,
negativity,
yang,
whatever.
You're positive, you're negative. For every good, God is bad. The yin and yang to it. But what blew my mind is that in most places, you could legally have your license to carry a firearm and get drunk and drink, and it's all kosher and copacetic. But I remember when the laws out here first passed, before weed was decriminalized as recreational, it was just first medical, I
remember, yeah.
But to get your medical marijuana card, you had to lose your right to bear arms.
Yeah.
And a lot of us may have felonies and can't bear arms, but you want that freedom as a civilian. You want that freedom. But it blew my mind.
Now, is that something you would have to report yourself?
Yeah.
How does it, if you're going to get your medical license, does it pop up
I don't know
in their system.
Yeah, I don't know
know.
about the details. I just found,
You found it interesting.
I found it very to gain one, you lose another.
Right.
You
Whereas
know?
like you
and
can.
so if alcohol makes me aggressive and angry, but weed calms me down and chills me out, why should I lose the right to bear arms and protect my family if I'm even more calm than because we just said, weed's a little more chill than alcohol. So I'm not saying, you shouldn't, but I think if you could
It's more
drink,
like operating heavy machinery, right? You wouldn't
Right.
operate heavy machinery, super stoned, right?
Right.
But I can see how it could be dangerous.
everything with class and moderation. But I mean, to lose your right to bear arms to protect your family, I mean, but you could.
It's a bit, it's kind
If marijuana is recreational like alcohol, and alcohol doesn't have an effect on whether you have the right to bear
Now,
arms, I don't think marijuana should.
Is this a federal law? Or is this Massachusetts?
I'm not quite sure, but I looked into it. I think it's a Massachusetts law for sure because
I wouldn't doubt it.
in
I mean, you go to
since then-
Texas. I'm sure you go to a bar in Texas, and just like
But this is
that
when it
had
was
there's
medical.
people having all sorts of guns on them at a bar, literally.
Right. And that's exactly my point. But this is when it first came out and it was medical. Since then, it's recreational, so
Yeah.
the laws might have changed since then. But it just blew my mind as an outsider looking in. Like, you could picture somebody drunk as hell running down the street with a shotgun, but somebody stoned can't protect their family.
So what I always look at when comparing things like that is let me put the worst case scenario against the worst case scenario, right? So worst case scenario for me, right? But mostly probably in general, worst case scenario, somebody very, very drunk. I mean, there's infinite ways that you can die.
Right.
You can fall into Charles River, like anything. You could fall downstairs, you get in a fight, break your neck. I mean, anything. Or you can kill somebody else.
Right.
You can, you know what I mean? You could take someone else's life, right? Worse, obviously, very, very, very worst case scenario. Let's flip that very, very, very worst case scenario on weed. You raid the pantry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You cheat on your diet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is
You fall asleep,
you get
you're
maybe
late for
social
work.
anxiety
Yeah.
and shut the hell up?
Yeah. Like, hey, I take it like this, man. You take 5 people that got beef and you put them in a room with 1 glass of alcohol, there's gonna be a fight. Someone might end up dead. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know one glad, but
Maybe
you put a
it's
lead,
an
you put
analogy.
a
It's
leader.
an analogy. So say you
leader.
take 5 people that got beef and you put a bottle of alcohol in the room.
It's unlimited
we already
access.
know
Well,
what's
unlimited,
going
yeah.
down.
Right.
There's gonna be at least a fight. Someone might end up dead. Now take that same scenario.
With weed.
You take 5 people that got
They
beef.
might come out best
Put
friends.
them in a room with some blunts.
They might
taking
come out best-
selfies. They're chilling. They might be cool.
Yeah,
it's just a
come out
less
best friends.
aggressive,
I mean, all right, let's talk about why has marijuana been demonized for so long, right? And my take on
had
it
to
is
fit a
because of
narrative.
control. Well, that too, but control, right? Because I guess, you can
Like
make
the hemp and
alcohol,
the
but
wood and all
anyone
that.
could yield some plants, right?
Right.
And then sell it, right, too. But what's wrong with that? Is everything you sell in this country, the government wants their cut. The
Exactly.
government's Frank White, right?
Exactly.
There's a nickel. You seen Frank White, right? King of
Yeah,
New York.
for
A nickel
sure.
bag gets sold in I want my cut, and that's
Yeah,
the
for
government.
sure.
And I felt like maybe that was part of it. And also, I know the big demonization was what was it? The 80s, the war on drugs.
A lot of
Nixon,
it was false narratives, and a lot of it was behind the scene money, like with the hemp and the wood and all them different industries and stuff. They wanted to boycott. It was about money.
I mean, I always look at everything you follow the
some of it
dollar.
was racial and class.
Well, that's what I was gonna get into with the that's where I was leading up to.
It was kind of
with
the lower class or the hippies or the,
Yeah,
it goes with different cultures, the blacks, the white hippies, and
Right, and
certain
what do you-
people, it looked at as the lower class, the stoners, but I think nowadays you walk into a dispensary and it's unbelievable. The
Yeah,
people
but hold on,
you see.
before we go off of that subject, because that's what I want to get into was like how you said a certain type of people. What was it like in the 70s, 80s war on drugs, right? Right. What were the two things that
was
kind
that
of
war really on?
I mean, a lot of it was right. The difference between cocaine and crack. right? And where you see a lot more African American communities affected by crack, right?
Right.
And then weed was big too in the African American communities, but also your hippies, right?
But
and
upscale people will buy into cocaine,
right.
White upper class, even actors and musicians.
Yeah, and so you got your hippies, and then you got like your hood, and a lot of those are what kind of like liberal, right? They kind of get clumped into liberal, so it seems like political move, a big political move.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like that was a big political
organized
move.
chaos. What hits the hood, like it's almost like planned or unplanned, but it's like everything hits the hood first. The worst stuff hits the hood first, you know, and we're kind of like the guinea pigs, like the experiment. That's why they call a project because it's a project,
right?
You know, but
like a social.
It goes back a long way, but now walking into a dispensary, it blows my mind the versatility in the people you'll find in there. Really,
it really see for me, from selling someone I used to sell who used to sell a lot of weed and stuff like that, it doesn't surprise me because my clientele was kind of like that too. Well, it was kind of like, okay, I go from the project.
I can relate.
That's that's why I was actually kind of surprised that you were surprised. Of all people, but
it still blows my mind because it's just like you'll have right wings in there, you'll have government in there, you'll have doctors in there, people with firearms, people I would still never think smoke grass that I see in dispensaries that I'm just like, wow.
I'm actually surprised by that because like I said, but you probably dealt with a lot of people just from your neighborhood stuff. When I was selling weed, people I would get put on with people who was like, I'm telling you, man, Harvard's right there. We got talking about smart at like lawyer, like some Republicans, some people in the project. I dealt
with mostly the same kind of people.
Right.
But like,
but that's the beautiful thing about weed is it can bring people.
I was hip, you know, growing up. I got hip real early.
Because those are the plays you want. Them people who are willing to pay $400 an ounce.
Everybody loves a little weed.
You know what I mean?
And I got hip to that real early. But what opened my mind is going to the dispensary. When they made it comfortable and more comfortable for them people to actually step out and say they smoke grass,
right?
The different people you see in there still blow my mind.
Well, like I said, it was demonized and it was illegal for so long, but it's still kind of stigmatized. Right. Certain places you go, they might be like, ugh, oh, I smell weed. Like, yeah, so what?
Yeah,
better than smelling your breath.
Responders in there, doctors in there, professors, like the people I see in dispensaries now. And plus, I hit so many different dispensaries and check out. I'm in that stoner.
Now, did you have your medical card at some point?
No, never. Just because if I ever did want to have the right to bear arms, or if I do, I wouldn't want that to affect it. And then after the time blew by, now there's no reason for the medical card because it's recreational.
Well, I was just about to give you a reason. Yeah, I was about to give you a real good reason.
The taxes, but I'd rather pay.
But not just that.
I'd rather pay a few dollars in taxes than lose my right to bear arms and protect my family.
Yeah, but you're not a convicted felon?
It's irrelevant to me.
Are you a convicted felon?
Yeah, but it's irrelevant.
So you can't get it anyway, that's what I'm asking.
But it's the point. It's the point, you know what I'm saying? It's the point, like, I wouldn't give that up for that. And if I did, even if it didn't affect me, I'd be co-signing off.
So why would you give it up for crimes then? Why would you go commit crimes if that? Because that's, I mean, obviously.
I was young, dumb, and full of, you know.
All right.
I mean.
Because you could bear arms and protect yourself.
Yeah.
Without doing it legally. You know what I'm saying?
Paper.
Because I don't think.
I'm just saying, right.
Like I just don't think that's gonna be something, especially in this state, bro. I don't think you'll ever be able to get that.
I always smoked weed long before it was legal. I always protected myself, whether I had a piece of paper or not. I'm going to protect myself.
Well, I
just think if it's gonna be relevant, where I stand on it, I want to stand on the issue. Like, if I don't agree with something, it just don't seem right.
Copy that.
I just couldn't. I
was gonna say because man, you get so many. Yo, I'm telling you, the deals you get. First of all, not only the not paying taxes, when you first get one of those cars, and you said you like to go dispensary, every time you're a new customer, bro, you get like a punch card.
Oh,
$50, $100 off. It's so, first of all, it pays for itself, right? It's a little investment, but it pays for itself.
Yeah, but
and it's one of those things too, where it's like, okay, better than have it not need not have it too, because if you can hold up to 8 ounces on you and then not be an issue too. So it's one of those things, you know.
You know,
Well, I think
it's
it's more.
It's probably more.
You can have an ounce. You can only have an ounce recreational. You can
growing the plants is definitely.
And you
cool.
could grow a lot
the fact
more
that
plants.
You could grow your own stuff, and that's stuff that should have been going on for a long time. They should, you know, especially with people that are sick.
Bro, I know, and I actually want to bring people on too. We could bring people on, bro. I know a couple people that like they're doing real well growing stuff, man. My boy. Couple boys that have grown. One dude, he does like all sorts of gardening and stuff anyway before, but like, and he just incorporate like if you already know about stuff like that. But that's pretty dope. Yeah.
I think it's definitely.
I don't know, man. How often do you smoke as compared to drinking?
Man,
personally, just since we're on.
My Irish people will be disappointed in me, but I'm not a big drinker. I might drink on occasion, like once a month, once a year.
What would you run to? What would be the first drink if you were
Irish whiskey, Jameson Irish
me and you
whiskey,
say we just
doubt.
This podcast just blew up. We just got signed by Spotify, bro. We celebrating.
Yeah.
Irish whiskey.
Yeah, Jameson.
Jameson.
Jameson Irish, maybe some ginger ale, chase it down, some green and green with some lime, you know, but. As far as smoking, it's all day, every day.
Can I ask you?
Keeps me cool and composed.
I wanna just interested more a little bit on the alcohol thing because alcohol for me is fucking reckless, right? It was a problem at some point. You drinking now? Do you ever get to the point where you feel like when you do drink, you drink too much, or it's just you don't like it that much? What is it about it? Do you not like? Do you feel like you're not in control?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not like an angry drinker. I could get lit and have a good time, but I do know my limits. I do know what's in my blood, what's in my family history, and maybe I am scarred in a certain way coming up, seeing my father a vicious, brutal alcoholic, pulling up in a whip with a bloody screwdriver that he poked somebody with, and he stole the whip with. Like, it's just like.
So you've been turned
the
off.
Alcohol.
It's a turn
and
off.
the heavy drugs.
Yeah.
So if you notice, you knew me a long time. Keith knew me a long time. I never got into opioids neither. You know, I seen a lot. Growing up in the projects, I see my brother
never
overdose.
Done a perk or nothing
I
like
see
that?
my brother I've never done no opiates. You know what I'm saying?
You should be proud of that, bro.
But growing up, before I hit 10 years old, I already seen my brother OD, my father OD. I've lost a brother to suicide because of drugs. I seen so much shit. I was scared straight. That's the honest truth. I was scared straight.
So you lump alcohol in with hard drugs, pretty much, kind of.
It's
just scared straight,
I was
turned off by
traumatized
it.
by
Trauma,
it.
yeah,
You know,
trauma
seeing my
bond.
dad be a mean,
curious.
evil drunk when I was young. You know what I mean? I was like, and then like I said, me personally, I could drink and like, I could feel alright, get a nice buzz. But I smoke weed and, you know, it's more like chill, you know, it's more relaxing. And I'm naturally a hyper person, so I don't need some alcohol to turn up. I'm already turned up. So the weed mellows me out. I like to find my...
What I think about alcohol is it's more of it's like an enhancer, right?
Yeah.
If like I said, celebration, you're already in a good mood, you'll be more jovial, right? If you're in, and this is what I learned about me, which helps for me with drinking and not drinking, is if, okay, man, if I'm in a bad mood, if something ain't going my way,
right. It's kind of
don't
like
drink.
a mushroom
That's the
or
last,
a psychedelic.
The last
if you're in a
time
certain
you should
mood,
drink.
that's gonna enhance it. If you're in a good mood and you take some mushrooms, it's gonna enhance it. But if you're already feeling nervous or angry, you're gonna have a bad trip.
Yeah, that's
so
it's a lot
very
mental.
relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that with alcohol, like I said, it's more of an enhancer. And today, like if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm sad, depressed, it's like, you know, like if someone dies, man, a lot of people want to go, let's go have a drink for whatever. And I'm like, nah, I don't want. I don't want to drink. Associate drinking with sadness too, because it just enhances that and makes it.
Well, if it's just a social atmosphere, I get it. We can go have a drink or a drink or two, but I'm not one to stay all night and get lit.
I mean, for me too, is like being older, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like it just and trying to stay physically fit, and then the less you drink, you're not used to it. You don't got a tolerance. It like beats me up, man.
Yeah,
it beats me. I can have 3 beers. It's gonna beat me up. Go ahead.
Yeah, for the record, I don't mind a little bit of alcohol. A little whiskey.
And I don't judge. And I don't judge people who whatever you got to do in life.
That's my point.
Whatever you got to do in life.
I'm over here. I smoke so much weed. I'm the last one that could judge anybody. But I'm just saying, I don't mind a little bit of alcohol. I just believe with everything, class and moderation. So for me, too much alcohol is a bad idea, and I know that. And me knowing that is my power. Knowledge is power.
Moderate, yeah.
So I ain't gonna be like my father or like my uncles that are really, you know, doing stretches over something they don't even remember doing, blacking out. I'm not with that.
I want to touch on moderation too, because like you said, especially with bad stuff. But man, even too many, like I'm doing the nutrition book. Too many vitamins, too
much of anything is no good.
Yeah, so moderation is key, especially when it comes to things like that, like drinking.
Yeah,
and
just
stuff
like they
that.
say, consistency is key.
And so you said,
Along
so
with
you had said,
moderation.
another thing too. You had said class. You had said class and moderation. What do you mean by class? I get moderation. What do you mean by
Alright,
class?
so class and moderation. So if you're known to be a drinker, like, you know, it might be real sloppy, you know, maybe arrogant, adjective, causing drama, causing problems, sloppy, basically. But with classes, moderation in classes, I'll do a little bit in style once in a while. That's what I mean by class and moderation. So when I go, I'm not gonna go have a dollar beer. I'm gonna have a nice pop some champagne or a nice expensive Irish
So I want to
whiskey
touch on. I want to touch a little bit on that
gonna do
too,
with class,
because damn, I wish I brought the book. 50 Cent got a book, man. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Yeah.
I read that book, read the audio
Very
book, all
good.
that stuff. But he says in it where a lot of times he'll be holding an event, right? He'll like be running it, but even when he doesn't, if he goes to the club, he'll buy a bottle for the VIP.
Right.
You know what I mean? You had to take a drink from it and then pass it around, and then the next time, or whatever, he'll get a bottle and fill it up with ginger ale.
Right.
Or like when he orders a drink, like he's very non-alcoholic,
Yeah.
but very about being in control.
50
it's one thing trying to being able to defend
50
yourself
is
and
a
stuff like that
monster.
too.
Anytime he's you know,
I mean, I look up to 50 a lot.
he's when he's smoking a little trees or taking a sip or something, like that's pretty much sums up what he did that day.
He said he don't even
Otherwise,
inhale.
As soon as he's
don't even
done, he
smoke.
ain't inhaling, he ain't drinking. He's going right to water in the gym after, which I respect, you know. But if he's on the track with Snoop Dogg talking about smoking weed all day or drinking in the club, he's gonna play that part in the video. But when it comes down to it, he goes right back to the water. He ain't a big smoker.
Yeah.
But I can respect that. But at the same time, I'm like, don't portray that. You'll get more respect when you do that vitamin water and that fitness stuff and just be you. But it is what it is. I get it.
It is what it is. What's next, man? That's what I got to say. I think we touched on. I think we had we touched on a few good things, bro. I think.
For sure.
Yeah, man. We're gonna cut to a break real quick, and we'll be back with some more after this. Peace.
Salute.
All my life I was told to do right. Stick right by my side if they wanna test my life, yeah.